Hello, friends in film friends. Stacy here. I was talking to Janet and she wanted me to help her make a training video about background. So here it is. I'm gonna give a lot of information on paperwork in this video, but I don't want you to panic because this is something that you will learn over time. These are papers that you'll get familiar with. The more you see them, the more you get your hands on them. And I kind of just wanted to make this video to help them look a little bit more familiar and to help you, understand kind of the bigger picture of the picture. So, in all honesty, I haven't held a position as a staffed background PA, but I have helped out on various shows with background. One of them, which was Broad City Season 5, which was awesome. It was a great learning experience. I was still fairly new to sets at the time, so I was just number one in awe to be on a show that I'm a fan of and have wanted to get into since I started doing film, since the show started filming. So it was really incredible experience to be there and to help have that show come alive in the city that I love so dearly, New York. So basically, the background will all meet up in this area, which we call holding. Sometimes it's also where the catering spaces where lunch is, but holding is kind of your base camp area for the day. If it's a larger background day, it'll be a big holding space, like basement of a church or a gymnasium, something like that. So that's where all the background will congregate. Now, when you come into work, you will get these things called skins. So this is what they look like. I'm going to hide my show name on top. So this is what the skins look like, and these are all the background actors for the day with their number next to them, and then these bolder areas are kind of their look for the day. So this was, investigators. This wasn't on Broad City. This is on the show I work on. So it's like investigators, security, administrators. This is in like NASA headquarters. It's not real. It's not real. I'm giving you false information. And then we had so many people that day that we had 2 sheets of skins because there was 157 background that day. Woo, crazy day. So on days like that, there will definitely be more people to help out. Usually there's an additional second, maybe even 2 or 3, and then we bring in other PAs, as I was brought into Broad City, to just help out, sit and holding, help organize people, bring background to set, etc., etc. So on your first encounters with background, that will probably be your responsibility to keep everything safe and holding. Make sure that people in the holding area are being courteous to the space, courteous to each other. You'll also be like fire watching their bags, which is just basically making sure that nobody's stealing stuff from each other. And then you'll be bringing the actors to and from set. So when you come in for the day, you got your skins, which is your list of all the backgrounds. You have your call sheet, which usually right here, all call sheets are different. But right here, this one says no BG. And then I pulled out another call sheet where we have some BG, so I can show you what that looked like. So in this section here, it says 6 JASA control room workers and 2 security guards. So we only had 8 background that day. Sorry, 10. I don't know how to count. I just got back from set, so I'm a little tired. But I feel great. I love being on set. So other paperworky things that background might be shoving in your face and or that you have to handle. So this is a voucher. There are 2 different kinds of vouchers. The white one is usually union. You can tell that because it has the SAG line right there. And I highlight, this is a prepped voucher. It's highlighted. It's got all the areas in which they need to fill out. I try and make it as easy as possible when I'm helping out with background so they don't have to come to me and figure out what they have to fill out. It's all right here. And then this is one for non-union that is not prepped. But if you don't know how to prep a voucher, just take a prepped one and copy. They're the exact same things. The only difference between these 2 is the amount of money that they're getting paid on their paycheck. SAG usually makes a bit more. They can also be stand-ins, which are just background actors in general that have the same likeness of the regular actors, so that when the camera's getting ready, they can stand in for the actor. Other forms you need to know. So this is situational, and through the company that I work for, all the background actors have already filled out their I-9 through the casting company, so we just pull it from there. But I've seen other background voucher forms where the I-9 is attached. Now, you've probably filled out one of these yourself if you've been employed, which is great. So you know what needs to be filled out in this form. It's basic information: first name, last name, address, social, date of birth, citizenship. And then the second page is where it gets a little complicated. So you can either fill out your passport information in one section, and then that's all you need to do. Or you can fill out the other two sections, which are a driver's identification or a state identification, and then your social security. If you fill out A, you do not need to fill out B and C. If you don't fill out A, you need to fill out B and C. And then this bottom half, if you're helping out with background, or if you're even verifying I-9s, this is where you fill out. This is your area right here, because you are the representative of the employer, so you're verifying their I-9. It's pretty cool. You got a little power. And the I-9s always come with this little cheat sheet that says exactly what I said before about passport and state identification and social security. The best thing about doing background is that you get the background. They're what set the whole. They're what set the whole movie. They're the kind of thing that are, hate to say it again, but in the background that kind of make you forget that you're watching a movie. I can be watching a movie sometimes and just it looks like real life, and I think that that's so amazing. So I'm really looking forward to when I get to do background and when I get to move people around and have them walk out of a door and into a door and just make it look lifelike. So the things that I'm trying to do to set myself up for this are to pay attention to what my bosses do to set the background so that I already have an idea. These are things that you can multitask while doing on set. You know, we're always supposed to have our head in a swivel, making sure everybody's safe, keeping everybody safe, and, you know, I keep everybody upbeat. That's just me. But I like to pay attention to what's going on around me, and that way that helps me get future jobs. It helps me have a better understanding of the set that I'm in and the people that I'm working with. So in the assistant director's department, there's your first AD who runs set. Then there's the second AD who builds the call sheet, which is the schedule for the day. And then the second AD is basically the first AD's right-hand man. The second also deals with all the background. If there is a bigger background day, they're the ones who are placing the background, giving them actions, and like how and where to move. I recently was at work and we had a big day in our NASA set, and I watched, as we were doing a rehearsal, I watched the first AD and the second AD stand next to each other during the rehearsal, and as we're doing the full rehearsal with the actors acting and the background moving, they were kind of pointing out what was working and what wasn't working. So that when we cut on that, the second AD could then adjust the background in the way to make it look more believable. And just the way that they were communicating with each other at such a professional level, but also, like, this is what we do for work. We make moving pictures. It's pretty awesome when you get to look at it from, here I am just standing behind them being like, oh boy, golly, those are my bosses. This is so cool. So yeah, it's kind of all about paying attention, and you need to think about what is most lifelike. I don't know about you guys, but one of my favorite hobbies is to people watch. So, you know, this kind of helps. I mean, it definitely helps in a way. Like if you're in a restaurant, how people move, how people talk with each other. Is this background, like, are they fighting? Are they talking about this? Is that, you know, a family or a weird couple? Or I don't know. You just have to kind of think of these things that happen. And I remember a while ago I was doing fitting, so I was signing background in. This was a day that we weren't working on set, so they're just getting fit by wardrobe, making sure that the costume that they have is going to fit for that day. Also, like, fit into the picture, like, fit into what we're filming. And there was a list that, I don't know who came up with this list. I don't know if it's the costume designer or production, but it was like a list of what types they were looking for, like what groupings we're calling them. So, you know, we get all these individuals coming in, and from these individuals coming in, we have to build a family or a couple or roommates or a mom and the child or like 3 brothers and their older mother, you know, something like that. So we're getting these like descriptive notes on like how to group these people together. So it was really interesting, and I happened to be the only PA there that day. So me and my second AD had all the pictures of the background, and we were like, all right, which 2 of these are the elderly Midwestern couple? And then here we are, just putting like 2 people together, marking their numbers down under that grouping and being like, these are the 2 that we're going to put together that day. So it's really awesome to look at it from a different perspective of what we get to do as PAs in the assistant director's department. And that's just like a small chunk of what we do, is setting background and making it look realistic. It's pretty dope. Also, a couple techniques I picked up while watching my bosses at work would be, so say it is like a bigger scene with a lot of background actors, and now while we have downtime and everybody's in their spots, all the background is in their spots, just take like a blank sheet of paper, draw out the room, and then put what number is there. So every background actor has a number that's assigned with their name. So instead of like scribbling their name, you just write their number. So say it's like an office building. Let me grab a pen. So say it's an office building. It's kind of like a bullpenny type of thing. And then there are rows of of course the pen I grabbed is dying. The rows of desks. So this is my bullpen, and these are the rows of desks. So we'll say, you know, we split it off to make it look how we can look realistically. And then we'll write like number 24 was here, number 72 is here, number 85 was here, number 2 was there. And it'd be something like this, so that if the background can't remember where they were, we have the chart of where they were. Or even say there's a guard that walks down this way, so we can write like number 7 walks this way. And you can do little things like charting to help you remember who moves where. One of my bosses once told me that he counts people's footsteps to get the pacing of like how many beats they need to take before, you know, after action or whatever. It's one of those things where like there are so many different techniques and you develop your own style that like all I could say right now is mush to you, because you're going to figure out your own way to do it. I just wanted to make a video about the couple different paperwork forms that you'll see, and just to give you some confidence in like, we can all do this. This is something that we witness every day without us even realizing it. It's in the background of our own lives, and that's what we're recreating on the screen. We're recreating the background of something, whether the movie's, you know, taken, you know, in space or something. You know, these are things that we might not see in our lifetime, but we have enough knowledge and enough resources to make something believable. Or maybe if it's an unbelievable situation and we have to create that. As long as you're in communication with your team and your bosses and the other people that are working with you, like specifically in that background world, can achieve anything. So that's my video. I hope your pen didn't run out like mine. And feel free to hit me up on Yammer and ask me any questions if you have.